I'm giving you a reflection on my clinical experience from this year. I have a few different little vignettes to show you about different things that went well, didn't go so well, and things that were great. So first we'll start off with the not great portion of my clinical experience. I had a really fun first day of a lab where we used siphons. We were able to work with lots of different fluid flow, and the students were really engaged. However, the next day I decided we should have a discussion on fluid work and how the siphons lab we had done related to that fluid work. Unfortunately, I forgot the fact that in high school classrooms, discussions don't just happen unlike they do in college classrooms where people are a lot more engaged inherently. So I sat there and tried to prompt answers to questions and things, but nothing I wanted to get across came across. So those bad things that happened, I didn't really get much feedback. I ended up just lecturing the class, but I think that in the future I could have a lot more hands-on activities to be doing while I was having that discussion, something to keep them actively engaged. The next I want to talk about is a better version. On the same thing with fluid work, that same lesson, at the very beginning we did a group task sheet. It went really well. The students in the beginning, the first group where they only did individual problems as a group, they did really well. They were engaged, they were learning, and I was really excited to see how they went when they switched into their big groups. When they got to their big groups, unfortunately, it didn't go so well. In these big groups, everyone, instead of sharing their insights and how they had done the problem, they just basically put their paper down and said, "This is what I did," and had them copy it down. That was really frustrating to me because I wanted to see each student individually showing what they had learned and increasing their understanding and each other's understanding as they shared that information. So that was one thing that was frustrating. However, I was so excited. The first thing that went so well, that they were working so well, that they were engaged, they were understanding concepts, they were teaching each other, and that was something I loved. I realized later that I probably should have divided the problems up a little bit more effectively, as some groups finished a lot before other groups. So that's something I can keep in mind to kind of factor in the time and either guesstimate a little bit better for that time. The final thing I want to talk about is my last and most exciting lab I did in this physics clinical. We did a lab on electrical current where we used breadboards and different materials to test how the current flowed through each of these things. And at first the students were a little unsure, but we had diagrams, we had a lot of people who had already taken classes using these breadboards, so throughout the groups we had enough that understood that could explain to each other, and they were very actively involved in showing each other how to do it and testing the different materials, and they loved it. One of the things we used was a Tootsie Roll, and they were so excited to see whether the Tootsie Roll had current passing abilities. They wanted to see, what about a peanut? Could we put it through a peanut? And they wanted to try all sorts of different things for this. So, unfortunately, we ran out of time that day, so we didn't have any more opportunity to show them those things, but it was really great to have a lab set up well with that preparation that I'd done, that the lab was well understood by all the students, and that it was so well understood that they wanted to continue the lab. They wanted to continue to test things. They wanted to continue to be those scientists and learn. So that was my best experience in my clinical placement this semester. So over the course of this, I've really learned a lot. I've been excited to just go out and teach. I'll be student teaching next semester, and I'm super excited. So thanks so much for your help, Mrs. Smith, and hopefully I will see you another time.